Hi there, I'm Mohi Reza, and in this video, I will talk about designing brief online interventions for helping students identify the positive aspects of stress. Students are increasingly stressed in the classroom, and one of the major sources of stress, especially for first-year students, is exams. However, oftentimes students aren't taught how to effectively deal with stress, and common advice, such as just calm down, aren't really helpful, and they don't really teach students how to deal with stressful situations in a way that's productive. Eustress refers to a powerful, albeit counterintuitive notion that stress can be beneficial and not necessarily harmful. Despite growing evidence that reappraising negative perceptions of stress towards eustress can help students perform better in stressful situations such as exams, it is less clear how to design self-administered online activities that introduce this counterintuitive reappraisal messaging to students in real-world contexts in a way that's simple, brief, and scalable. Within the context of these three challenging criteria, we explored the design space of multi-component online interventions that fit within a single web page, takes less than 5 minutes to complete, and can be deployed to students at scale without requiring individual feedback from instructors. A key guiding consideration for our exploration was that students' attention in online learning environments can be incredibly limited, and that it may be challenging for instructors to offer one-on-one interactions with students in such environments. With this in mind, we asked, what are the considerations in deciding what information and activities merit being included to convey a core reappraisal message that being stressed during the exam can actually help you do better? Then we operationalized this question by designing 6 complementary factors that reinforce student engagement with this message and varied these factors along 3 design dimensions. 1. The amount of information and explanatory text to balance the trade-off between limited attention and visual clutter against the degree of elaboration on how stress can be helpful. 2. The modality of presentation to understand how representing the same content as text versus video influenced student perception and engagement levels. And 3. The potential value of reflection prompts for students to think aloud and type notes that focused on how their future selves could actually use the information during their next exam. To evaluate our designs, we did 2 studies. In Study 1, we conducted semi-structured interviews and think aloud usability tests with 20 students, where we asked them to reflect on each component and share what they thought and felt as they used it. This was to understand the impact and trade-offs of including a particular component of the design. These tests and interviews yielded practical insights into the relative importance and impact of factors on different students in different contexts, such as when text versus video presentation might be effective, what kinds of additional information are compelling versus burdensome, and what kinds of interface prompts for students are more or less impactful in terms of helping them retain and utilize the reappraisal messaging. Our findings indicate a clear need for reinforcing the core reappraisal message with additional content. When it comes to convincing students, research-based content seems to be the way to go. Even if students don't go as far as reading a research paper that we linked in a citation, they did find the information that's backed by research to be more persuasive. When it comes to the format of the information, students prefer text-based information that is presented in a clear and structured way, especially when it includes actionable items. For students who are feeling stressed or lonely before an exam, a talking head video format may be more comforting, because this way they can actually have an instructor walk them through the message of reappraisal and provide reassurance through facial expressions. It's also worth noting that for non-native speakers, writing reflections instead of verbalizing them makes them more conscious about their grammar and word choice. Some participants mentioned that speaking out loud instead of writing allows them to focus more on the ideas that they're trying to convey, rather than getting bogged down in grammar and word choice. In Study 2, we conducted a large-scale field experiment with over 1,200 students, where we randomly assigned students to either a control group which didn't receive the intervention, or a treatment group which received the core reappraisal message and a random combination of one or more design factors as components that reinforced engagement with the message. Although students only spent an average of 3 minutes on the intervention, the field experiment revealed that combinations of our design components were powerful enough to boost the average exam score from a 76% to an 80%, which, according to the grading scale of the course where we deployed the intervention, is an increase from a B to an A-. Subgroup analyses indicate a significant effect for first-year students, but not for upper-year students. And we did not detect any gender differences. To summarize, in this paper we contribute an exploration of the design space for online exam Eustress interventions that are simple, brief, and scalable, focusing particularly on how students interact with different presentation modalities, levels of elaboration, and reflection prompts. We also contribute an evaluation of our multi-component design using Think Aloud usability tests and semi-structured interviews with 20 students, as well as results from a large-scale randomized field experiment with over 1,200 students, providing evidence on the positive impact of our intervention on exam performance. Thank you for listening, and please check the paper for further details.